Hello everyone, and for many of you, welcome back to the channel. This year has certainly been one for the books, hasn't it? But for all of the craziness going around, some great things have come from this year, and one being the C8 Corvette is finally here, and many of you may just have one in your garage. For another large portion of you, maybe it's not the base you've been waiting for. Maybe, just maybe, it's the big bad C8 Z06 that has your attention. And honestly, I would say that there's good reason for it. The C8Z or Corvette C8 Z06 is shaping up to be one incredible sports car because the platform it's being built off is just incredible. I'm beyond impressed with my base C8 Corvette, but the Z06 will without a doubt take it to the next level. A flat plane crank engine coupled with the mid-engine layout, a wider body, and larger tires for better grip all can push the car to even higher limits. While we don't have confirmation on true power figures, most educated guesses put the output of around 600 to 650 horsepower and a comparable amount of torque. Those numbers may sound old as they're relatively close to the C7 generation Z06, but with this new platform, the performance increase will be substantial. Now, as much as you may want the car, acquiring it may not be quite as easy. It just takes a quick look at how long the current wait times are for the base C8 to realize that. But in today's video, let's check out some of the best ways to get your car as soon as possible. You may not be aware of this, but most dealers have already been taking deposits for future buyers for years now. I know my dealership's first deposit for the base C8 was back in 2015. And yes, that means someone put $1,000 down on a car that didn't exist and let it stay with the dealership for 5 years. Some people would say that's bad business choices, but when it came time to call buyers for C8 orders, he was the first to get a phone call. Now, of course, most people have just begun to put down deposits, but the lists are already growing, and the farther you fall down on that list, the longer it will take for you to get your car. To give you an example, my large Corvette volume dealership that I purchased my C8 through already has over 50 individuals on their Z06 list. I mean, I know the car is popular, but I was shocked that many people were already waiting for a car that technically doesn't exist yet. And it's a bit odd to hand over money to a dealership for a car that we know so little about or even when it's going to arrive. However, any good dealership that has that $1,000 deposit should be fully refundable. If your dealer is non-refundable, find another. This ensures that if you do change your mind or something else comes up, that money is not lost. Typically, as was in my case, once you actually order the car to your spec, then that money should no longer be refundable. The next important step to take is to find out how much volume in Corvettes your dealer does typically in a year. This is a really key aspect because the more volume that the dealer does, the more allocations they will get for the Z06, and that usually means they will also get it quicker for their allocations. Many of you may be familiar with the top Corvette sellers such as Quebec, McMulkin, and Criswell. Those are the 3 highest volume Corvette dealers in the US, but you don't necessarily need to buy from one from them. Corvette Blogger has a list of the top 100 dealers by Corvette volume, and you should most likely be able to find at least one dealer within a reasonable distance of you. Luckily, the dealer I went through was on the top 50 dealers on that list, and it allowed me to get my car fairly easy, even though I really wasn't that low on their initial list. They had a good amount of allocation for the amount of Corvettes that they typically sell. If you follow my channel, you also know that I was supposed to get my car mid-March, but I missed the cutoff just barely. So between COVID and the GM strike, I was moved back to July 1st, which is when I picked my car up. That still gave me an incredible summer to drive the car and absolutely fall in love with it. I'll provide a link in my description so you can check out that long list of dealers from Corvette Blogger. And the final tip that I would give you is do your research about the dealer that you're buying from. This is important because the base C8 has been a very hot car, and many dealers have decided to take advantage of that and sell their inventory at well over MSRP. These markups have run from 10 grand to 40 grand more than sticker. I personally think you have to be crazy to buy one over MSRP, but for some people, it's worth it, I suppose. Personally, I just don't have an unlimited bank account balance. But the reason for bringing this up is because GM has been taking notes on this. They've been monitoring the dealers that have done this and went against their wishes for keeping their cars at MSRP. And from what we have heard, they will be cutting allocation to many of those dealers. So, by doing the research through the forums, Facebook pages, and other internet sources, you can prevent yourself from buying from a dealer that may try to pull something over on you by acting like you can buy it at MSRP, then slapping that 10 grand over sticker on you as you come to pick up the car. And you'll save yourself from buying from a dealer that may typically get a good amount of allocations, but that might be cut for their Z06 allocation due to their shady business practices. I know most of you are fully aware, but the Z06 is going to be a crazy hot car. The base C8 Corvette has been a successful foundation that will catapult the Z06 into the car everyone wants, but few are truly going to get their hands on early. In addition, buying one secondhand will mean extreme scalping, as anyone who sells their Z06 now knows how high of a markup that they can get based off what happened with the base car. So just a quick recap on the video, go and find a reputable dealer on the list that I provided you. Now, of course, you can go to your local dealer, especially if you have a great relationship. They just may not have as much of an allocation, so to get an early allocation, you're going to need to be high on their list. Then do your research and make sure that the dealer hasn't been difficult or had past shady business practices. It really has been heavily documented in the forums and social media pages about many dealers and what they've put some of their customers through. My local Hendrick dealer let me put a $1,000 deposit down on to be in their list. I received a good allocation amount, took my order, and delivered my car exactly what we signed at in terms of pricing. That really is how it should go. I do want to take a moment and apologize for my lack of uploads and news coverage lately. Life has been quite busy since having a baby, and between the little guy and work, my days just seem to go so quick. I do plan on getting back to uploading several times a week on Corvette coverage, as well as new videos over my C8 and R8. If you have any suggestions for videos that you'd like to see, make sure you drop them below so I can either make a video or try to answer your questions that you may have. I do hope this video gave you a bit of insight on how to successfully secure your C8 Z06. If you found it helpful or insightful, think about hitting that like button. Are you new to the channel? Think about subscribing as well. To my incredible 24,000 subscribers out there, thank you. It's still really hard to believe we've come this far, and I can't wait to get back into the swing of things. As always, you all take care, and I'll see you next time.